DeltaMath is a website that allows teachers to assign content to their students from middle school through AP Calculus. Teachers can easily create assignments by adding any of almost 1,200 different problem types, each of which has countless randomly generated problems that give kids immediate feedback and show step-by-step directions on how to solve them. Teachers can click on any problem and see unlimited examples of the types of problems their students will be solving. There is a search bar where teachers can search for keywords or for Common Core standards. They can also list all problem types by Common Core standards. If a student is assigned the distributive property, they would see this question page. If they got the answer wrong, they will see the full solution, for which this one includes an animation. For combining like terms, there is a guided version which is interactive and gives kids hints along the way. For example, if they tried to drag negative 2x squared onto negative 6y squared, they'd be giving a hint that those are not like terms and they must have the same variable. If they do connect the y squareds together, they're asked to combine that result. If they get it wrong, they're given feedback that they do not add up to 9y squared. Only when they get it right does it give them a new row in which they can continue combining like terms until there are as few as possible. If you want a more traditional approach, you can just assign regular combined like terms in which the kid just has to type the answer, and if the answer is incorrect, then they're able to see the full solution and learn from their mistake. Many modules have great visual tools to help students understand the conceptual reason for the steps they are taking. For example, seeing this visualization can be a very powerful way for students to make the connection between greatest common factors and simplifying fractions. Students are also able to make graphs within the system that are automatically graded. For example, in graphing lines, the student must click twice in order to make a line. If they accidentally graphed a line with a positive slope, they would be giving meaningful feedback about their mistake. For example, they're shown the correct answer, which goes to the right 3 down 2, while their graph went to the right 3 and up 2. There's also verbal feedback that shows that their y-intercept is correct and the slope is correct except for the sign the slope was supposed to be negative. For trig graphs, students can experiment with the various parameters to discover the effect each has on the way the graph looks. Since it is guided, the student can keep trying until they succeed. After playing with the module, the student will then be prepared to formalize their learning, making precise definitions of amplitude, midline, and period, and then be able to answer questions like this, where they just have to write the equation from a graph, or here, where they're given multiple choice. There are also modules in geometry that can really help build student intuition for core concepts. For example, in this one, students are asked to experiment by finding a sequence of two transformations that would map one figure onto the other. Through trial and error, the student will get more proficient at distinguishing between the different types of transformations. One Common Core standard is to understand the proof for why the angles in a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. This module leads them through that reasoning by identifying alternate interior angles and seeing that since angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees, so must the angles in a triangle. After answering some basic questions, the students will be asked to drag the vertices around and see that the pattern will always hold. This will allow students to convince themselves beyond a doubt that the three angles in a triangle must add up to 180 degrees. Making an assignment on the site is very simple. The teacher will click Create Edit, Create Standard Assignment, give the assignment a name, select the class for which the assignment will apply, go to the Skills tab, find some skills they'd like to assign, for example these 3. They would decide to assign perhaps 5 skills of each kind. Go to the Due Dates tab, choose a date, let's say in a week, click Create Assignment. What the students would see on their end is the assignment that the teacher just created. They can click into it, see how many problems are required, attempt to solve the problems. Perhaps they'd get it wrong. The teacher has decided to give attempts so that they have multiple attempts on the same one. They can press Show Example to see how similar problems are solved. The teacher can then see valuable, detailed data from the student's work. Click on Student Data, where you will see a summary of all assignments and their average grade. You can go into the details of a certain assignment to see which skills the class is struggling with. At any time, you can download the data on the screen into an Excel file. You can go into the details of any section to see all of the trial data for that problem type. You can really see here how some students struggled in the beginning and then became more comfortable as they practiced. If you hover over the problems, you see how long the student spent on each problem. By clicking the specific check or X, you see the exact problem the student solved and their answer. As can be seen here, the student forgot to divide by 8 on his first attempt, but ended up figuring out his mistake on his second try. DeltaMath has the power to be transformational for your students, as it continues to be in my own classroom. Not only does it give students the practice and confidence they need to succeed on tests, but the visualizations and interactive experiences can really help enhance students' conceptual understanding of the content.